All right, people, welcome back to the channel. New season of La Liga just started. Real Madrid back in action today. We have a lot to talk about. I'm gonna let you guys know from now. I might not be able to do videos every day because I work and sometimes I'm gonna miss certain games. But when I can, I promise you guys, I will deliver you a video. But outside that, let's get into it. Very interesting game. We can start from a lot of changes have been made from last year. Of course, we have new manager, new players coming in, and things like that. And I want to get into it, everything that basically happened today. And let's talk. Uh, the first thing I want to probably start with is probably the starting lineup. When the starting lineup came out, I really questioned Xabi Alonso starting Brahim Diaz because to me, Brahim Diaz does not bring anything of quality as a starter. I think he's good when he's coming off the bench when he's because he has a lot of energy. He can run around. He can help change the game, and I just think as a starter, he doesn't work that well. And I think that was one of the big mistakes that Xabi Alonso made. And I get it; he doesn't want to start Rodrigo, and I'm fine with not starting Rodrigo if you think that front three is not going to be balanced and they're all going to be shifted towards the left side. I'm fine with that. But my problem is then when you do not start Rodrigo and you start a player like Brahim Diaz, I'd rather you start somebody like Gonzalo instead of Brahim. Because at least with Gonzalo, he can play down the middle, and then you can have Mbappe and Vinny operate both on the wings, and that solves a huge problem that we have that I'm going to get into later on. But yeah, like I said, I thought the Brahim Diaz, him starting, I thought was not good. He's just a very average player, and there's nothing wrong with that. You need some average players in the squad and stuff like that. But I think as a starter, he leaves very much to be left behind. Left to be, I said left behind, left to be. How do I say this? He leaves a lot to be desired. That's what I'm trying to say. But outside of that, basically everybody, a lot of this team pits itself really. Vinny, of course, is always going to start. Mbappe is going to start. Guler, he's been starting for us ever since the Club World Cup, ever since Xabi Alonso took over. Of course, Chouameni, we know how important he is to the system. You see when we have in cooling breaks or whenever Xabi has a chance to talk to him, he's always talking to him, putting ideas into his head and stuff like that. And then, of course, Fede Valverde is the captain. He's going to start. And then we have three new signings in the back line in Carreras, Hoyson, and Trent. And then you add that back in with Militao, who are also basically a new signing because he was injured last year. And then we have the GOAT in the back, of course, with Courtois. Now, I think Xabi Alonso is gonna have to. It has a huge problem in his hand, and it's gonna solve itself a little bit when Jude Bellingham comes, because Jude can play as an extra attacker and stuff like that, and play as a number 10, and then you just continue with your three midfielders that you already have, and that basically solves your problem on the right wing, because then you can have Trent playing more high up and stuff like that, and it solves a lot of problems having Jude back. But I really think playing with three wingers, especially when you have Vinny and Mbappe playing next to each other as the left winger and striker, is not going to work. Playing the 4-3-3 is not going to work, especially with the way that the team is set up. Now, if you have Mbappe as the left winger and Vinny as the number 9, do I think you would get better results? Probably. Because Vinny, as the number 9, understands that he needs to stay forward, he needs to operate specific zones. He doesn't really do a lot of the dropping back gimmick that Mbappe does and things like that. And I think that's really important. I think that's really something that we're missing is that focal point up top. We don't need our number 9 to be flashy, to be scoring 100 goals a season. If he does that, great. But we just need the person to be able to operate as the number 9 and to do the things that the number 9 does. We need some aerial presence. We need some a player that's going to lead the press and things like that. Which is why when Gonzalo was playing, especially during the Club World Cup, we had so much success because we now had that focal point. We now had that player that could head the ball, that can lead the press and do all the simple things. Like in a team full of superstars, you don't always need. Sometimes in a team full of superstars, you you need somebody that understands his role and that's just gonna do that job. And that's the main problem right now with the attack. Now, as I say this, this is the first game of the season. I thought we were great defensively. You see a lot of new ideas being played. You see a lot of new. It's not just like the players are playing based on instincts and stuff like that. No, you see Javi being very vocal and things like that, which is very important. But the thing, the main problem, the main thing that Xabi is going to have to fix is the front three. Outside of that, I think he's done a good job with the midfield so far. Defensively, we were solid. Even when you have a player like Trent, who's not that great defensively, he helps him out with Fede. He gives him help when he needs help. And Trent will not be tested that much in terms of La Liga compared to like when he was playing the Prem. You know what I mean? Like it sounds terrible, but the wingers in La Liga aren't that great for him to be, for us to be that worried about him every single game. Like I feel like he can hold his own with the wingers. But like I said, for first game, first performance of the season, it was decent. We don't have to. There's stuff that we can improve on, but there's stuff that we did great today, which is what you want from the first game of the season, in my opinion. And we also have to remember we didn't have a traditional preseason. Now we did have the Club World Cup, which you could say is more valuable because you're playing more meaningful games and stuff like that. But in any other ways, in my opinion, uh, this is a good first performance. We have something that we can build off of, and that's what we want to see next game. Now, next game, of course, is going to come with more expectations, which is expected. But yeah, like I said, and then let's get into it. In my opinion, the entire team played basically well. As a team, as a unit, they played well. I think I see there's two yellow players with like yellow, orange, sofa scores. With Trent, I think he was all right. I'm not gonna say he was great. I'm not gonna say he was otherworldly or he was terrible or he was ass. I think his crossing could have been better, but when you're playing with a front three that's like an average height of like 5'10", I don't see how Trent can succeed without having that focal number nine, especially when you see him crossing the ball a lot. Now maybe when Jude comes back, you have Jude, you have Chilmeni, you have Fede, you have Dean Huijsen, you have Militao, all great targets for him to aim at. But when it's like just when Mbappe is your tallest player on the field for your attack, Trent is gonna the crosses aren't gonna go anywhere. They're just gonna get intercepted by the opponent. So it's up to Xabi and Trent to figure out a plan for him for what to do when we don't have that big number nine in the team and how he can succeed without just crossing the ball aimlessly. But outside of that, his passing, I thought he had some good passes here and there. Uh, but I want to see more from Trent, of course. But right now, it's his first time playing for Real Madrid. I'm not too worried about him. I think he'll improve as the year goes on, and yeah. And then, like I already mentioned him a little bit earlier, but Brahim Diaz, like I said, he's just not a starter for us. I'm not gonna criticize the guy. I'm not gonna ridicule the guy. He's just not a starter, and it's up for Jabi to understand that. I understand that he wants somebody to help lead the press and to work hard off the ball and to be that role player. I just don't think Brahim Diaz has a lot of quality for that for to be starting for us. I think Arda today he could have did a little bit better. I wanted to see a little bit more from him, but this is La Liga. This is not the Club World Cup. Players are gonna be on you, and I think he could have did a little bit better. I want to see a little bit more efficiency from him. And there was a lot of times where you saw him being near like the bots playing as the false line and bots crashing. I want to see that role reverse with Fede. I would rather see Arthur more deeper and then Fede be more advanced because I think it was the opposite today. I want to see those roles switch. In terms of Vinny today, I thought Vinny did. Vinny The thing with Vinny is that we've expected a lot from him because of all those great stuff that he's done in the past. Now with Mbappe being there, he's of course taking a step back, and that's understandable. But the main thing that made me very angry with Vinny last year is when he wasn't working hard off the ball and stuff like that. But today, I thought he tracked back well. I think I saw stats saying that he had the most tackles or something like that in the game, or something like that. Yeah, he won 3 tackles today, a lot, which is what you want. Like that's what we want from Vinny. We want him working hard. There's a chance that he almost created today just based off his pressing, and I think if Mbappe was there pressing with him, we could have got a stolen a goal. But like I said, Vinny worked hard off the ball today. He created a couple chances for Mbappe, for somebody else also. I think it was for maybe Arthur, somebody else that he created a chance for. Um, when he went down the byline, he also could have won a penalty today. Like I said, good performance. Now there's other stuff that's going on behind the scenes of Vinny in terms of the contract that he's expecting. Now, if Vinicius Jr. wants to be on Mbappe level money, making whatever Mbappe is making, being the second or first highest paid player in the squad, then now we're gonna be expecting more from him. But for now, this is just a good performance to build off of. He needs to continue doing the off ball work that he's doing and then add on to the stuff that he was doing before. And if he does that, in my opinion, he can be the highest paid player in the squad for all I care because now he's delivering on both sides. He's creating chances, he's scoring goals, he's being one of the most, he's leading the press, he's doing all those things. If he can do that, hey, Florentino Perez, write him a blank check for all I care. But one of the main problems with him and Mbappe playing together is that it's just that they operate in the same zones. So I think something that Xabi can do, and when I mentioned Jude earlier, I think something that Xabi can do is just play them both as strikers. Vinny has done okay at striker when he not even okay. He's done well at when he's played as a striker, especially in a duo. And if you add Mbappe next to him, I think if you play them both as the strikers, the team plays differently. So now if one of them drops back or goes in a certain zone, then the other knows that he needs to stay as the striker. But when they're both playing, when Vinny's playing as the left winger and Mbappe's playing as a striker, they just continue to operate in each other's zones. Now, the other thing that I said that Xabi can do is just play Mbappe as the right winger. It's not like a handicap. It doesn't make you less of a player to move to a different position, in my opinion. Like, too many times when I watch us, I see that we force Mbappe to be the number 9. If that's going to happen, teams, defenders are going to be they're gonna have an easy day because what Mbappe does is he just jots back for no reason. He doesn't operate in the box a lot, and that's something that we need to change. So, for my opinion, I'll go over my final points in the end of the video. I'm just gonna talk about the player performances right now. But yeah, like I said, we spoke about Vinny, Gul, Arda, Brahim, Mbappe, and Valverde. Chouameni today had some good tackles. I thought he could. I didn't really notice a lot from Chouameni today, which I guess is a good thing. Like you don't want to see a player, especially in a position like his, to be doing a lot and to be getting his name called a lot. I thought when the Osasuna had attacks, he sniffed it out. He did a he did a good job stopping those, and he moved the ball well. Could have been a little bit better. Maybe some people are gonna say he passed the ball back a little bit too much and uh, not bringing the ball forward a lot outside. I mean, that's just criticism, unnecessary criticism, especially for the DM. I think as long the DM, it's a very with the DM, the position is just like for me, just keep it simple. You don't need to have a loud game as a DM, in my opinion. But yeah, and then Carreras, I thought today did a good job. Clearly he hasn't been tested yet. Who they especially with the system Osasuna were playing, they had wing backs instead of an actual winger, so he didn't have a lot of 1v1 defending opportunities. But going forward, he did well. It's so good to see to have two fullbacks who are actually competent on the ball and who weren't allergic to the ball and who weren't just doing dumb shit with the ball, in my opinion. So Carrera's good debut by him. Dean Huijsen, you already know how much I love that guy. I think he's one of the best center backs in the world already. He reads the game so well. He's great on the ball. And the only thing I would say today is that I feel like I think because Germany has experience playing center back, he was a little bit too comfortable going forward, and because maybe he knew Germany would just take over his position, which that did happen. I just don't want to see that. I just would rather him stay in his position a little bit more. Militao, a little bit aggressive a lot, which is the role that we kind of want him to play. But outside that, though, good performance from Militao. Trent we spoke on. Courtois didn't really have much to do when his name was called. He stepped up, in my opinion. But yeah, good performance by the team for the first game of the season. And then for my five takeaways from this game, the main thing for my first point, Xabi just has to figure out the situation in the front three. My second point, I think he had good subs today. Bringing on Danny Carvajal in terms of when the game was ending, I thought was great. Because he's clearly a better defender than Trent. And then he changed basically the entire front three because Mbappe started playing a new position. I thought that was good. Franco, good debut, looked very aggressive, asking for the ball. Uh, not to, and he saved me from Brahim Diaz. Just off of that was a positive sub. Gonzalo Garcia had like one opportunity, but couldn't really get his head on it. Defended the set piece well, ran well, thought he did a good job. Ceballos, didn't really have much time to do anything. But like I said, second main point, I love the subs by Xabi. Would have loved them a little bit earlier. And the third point that I have is going to be on Rodrigo. I think he could have brought on Rodrigo for Mbappe a little bit. Maybe change the entire front three. Like, you don't have to. One of them doesn't have to stay on. Rodrigo can be a focal point in the front three if he's playing. Him, Gonzalo, and Franco. That would be a good front three. It's well balanced. Players in each playing in their correct position. Striker is a focal point, and Gonzalo. That'll be my third point. I think he could have brought on Rodrigo. He's a good player. He doesn't. I don't think he do his recent performances does mean he should based off of his recent performances. Should he be started? No, in my opinion. But should he still get like 20 or 30 minutes a game? I think so. I think so. And then fourth point, I love that we were very good, solid defensively. I think he did a good job with that. Just made sure we're defensively solid. The attack needs to be solved, but that's for another game to be worried about. And then the fifth thing, like I said earlier, I would just like to see him switch Arda and Valverde's role. And then if he is gonna have instead of having the fullbacks invert, I rather they be overlapping, and then the wingers, in terms of Vinny and whoever's playing on the right wing, I'd rather they be the ones tucked in, and then Carreras and Trent are the ones overlapping, if that makes sense. But outside that, thought Xabi did a good job. Team played okay. Good performances. We just continue to build off what we did today. And yeah, if you like this video, I know I yapped for like 20 minutes today. Drop a comment, drop a like. Like I said, I might not be recording every single time that we play this season. I will try my best, but outside that, hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. God bless y'all.